more men! Plague! Plague!
I was directed hither. Men report thou dost affect my manners and dost use them.
'Tis then because thou dost not keep a dog whom I would imitate. Consumption catch thee!
This is in thee, a nature but infected. A poor, unmanly melancholy sprung from change of fortune. Why this spade? This place? This slave-like habit and these looks of care? Thy flatterers? Yet wear silk, drink wine, lie soft, hug their diseased perfumes, and have forgot that ever Timon was. Do not assume my likeness.
Were I like thee, I'd throw away myself.
Thou hast cast away thyself, being like thyself. A mad man so long, now a fool. What? Thinks that the bleak air thy boisterous chamberlain will put thy shirt on warm? Huh? Will these mossed trees that have outlived the eagle page thy heels and skip where thou point'st out? Will the cold brook, candied with ice, curdle thy morning taste and cure thy overnight surfeit? Oh, thou shalt find.
A fool of thee depart!
I love thee now better than e'er I did.
I hate thee worse.
Why?
Thou flatterest misery.
I flatter not, but say thou art a caitiff.
Why dost thou seek me out?
To vex thee.
Always a villain's office, or a fool's. Dost please thyself in.
I.
What? A knave too?
If thou didst put this sour cold habit on to castigate thy pride, 'twere well. But thou dost it enforcedly. Thou'dst courtier be again, wert thou not beggar. Unwilling misery outlives uncertain pomp is crowned before. Thou shouldst desire to die, being miserable.
Not by his breath, that is more miserable. Hadst thou, like us, from our first swath preceded the sweet degrees that this brief world affords, thou would have plunged thyself in general riot, melted down thy youth in different beds of lust, and never learned the icy precepts of respect, but followed the sugar game before thee. But myself, who had the world as my confectionery, the mouths, the tongues, the eyes, and hearts of men at duty more than I could frame employment, that numberless upon me stuck as leaves do on the oak that with one winter's brush fell from their boughs and left me open, bare, for every storm that blows. I to bear this that never knew but better is some burden. Thy nature did commence in sufferance, time hath made thee hardened. Why shouldst thou hate men? They never flattered thee. What hast thou given? If thou wilt curse thy father, that poor rogue must be thy subject, who in spite put stuff to some she-beggar and compounded thee, poor rogue, hereditary. Hence be gone.
What hast thou to Athens?
Thee thither in a whirlwind. If thou wilt, tell them there I have gold. Look, look, so I have.
Here is no use for gold.
The best and truest, for here it sleeps and does no hired harm.
Where lies tonight's Timon?
Under that's above me, where feeds thou a days, Apemantus?
Where my stomach finds meat. Or rather, where I eat it.
Would poison were obedient and knew my mind.
Where wouldst thou send it?
To sauce thy dishes.
The middle of humanity thou never knewest, but the extremity of both ends.
What wouldst thou do with the world, Apemantus, if it lay in thy power? Wouldst thou have thyself fall in the confusion of men and remain a beast with the beasts? A beastly ambition which the gods grant thee to attain to. If thou were the lion, the fox would beguile thee. If thou were the lamb, the fox would eat thee. If thou were the fox, the lion would suspect thee, when peradventure wert accused by the ass. Wert thou an ass, thy dullness would torment thee, and still thou livest but as a breakfast to the wolf. If thou wert the wolf, thy greediness would afflict thee, and oft I should hazard thy life for thy dinner. Wert thou a unicorn, pride and wrath would confound thee, and make thine own self the conquest of thy fury. Wert thou a bear, thou wouldst be killed by a horse. Wert thou a horse, thou wouldst be seized by a leopard. Wert thou a leopard, thou wert germane to the lion, and the spots of thy kindred were jurors on thy life. All thy safety were emotion, and thy defence absence. What beast couldst thou be that wert not subject to a beast? And what a beast art thou already that seest not thy loss in transformation?
When I know not what else to do, I'll see thee again.
When there is nothing living but thee, thou shalt be welcome.